I grabbed a knife and I stabbed him once in the back of the neck, I believe somewhere near the brainstem. He turned around, tried to carry it on, and I think I stumbled on my chest of drawers. I fell over. I got back up, backed away, and then I don't remember exactly what happened, but the fight ended with me cutting his throat.
Breck Bednar was a kind and loving older brother, a dedicated and gifted student. But it was through his love of video games that he met this teenager. And instead of making a new friend, Lewis Daynes took his life.
Breck Bednar, a 14-year-old who lived in Caterham, Surrey with his mother and 3 younger siblings, a set of triplets. As a child, Breck loved to mess around with things and fixing stuff and playing games and with Lego like most kids around that age. Breck was also a class student, and his mother said he was very well behaved and never swore, yelled, or even slammed a door. At age 14, Breck got into online gaming and would be invited into a gaming group. His mother, Lauren, said his door would always be open so she could hear everything the kids would say when online, and she never heard anything disturbing. One thing, however, Lauren found strange. The server Breck and his friends played on had a ringmaster who was unknown to the rest of the group. A young man by the name of Lewis Daynes. It was strange because Breck knew and met all the other players in real life, but nobody knew Lewis. Lewis Daynes claimed to be a 17-year-old computer engineer who ran a multi-million-pound company. He would say he would sometimes be located in New York and was working for the US government. Or he would say he would be in Dubai or Syria. In Breck's mother's words, Breck saw no evil in the world. Daynes seemed very cool, very excited. Over a period of time, Breck started communicating with Daynes more on social media and on the gaming platform. Over this time, Lauren noticed that every time she would come into the room when Breck was online, he would say, "My mom's come in," and Lewis would start chatting her up. Lauren would always ask why Lewis wasn't off doing things with his friends on a Friday night, but he would claim he was just too tired. Time went on, and Lewis's influence on Breck started to show. Things such as Lewis said to Breck he didn't need to finish school as he could just get an apprenticeship at Microsoft, or Lewis says, "I don't drink or smoke and do well in school, so I should be able to game as long as I want." More time passed and the influence of Lewis grew. Breck stopped doing homework and chores and became harder to get him offline. When Breck's mother kept telling Breck to get offline, Lewis would say through the headset not to listen. Concerns grew, but Breck's parent offered Breck to meet Daynes in real life, but he would often make excuses like being too busy with work. Annoyed, Lauren would start asking around for help about the situation. But she'd be met with responses like, "Oh, that's what boys do," or "My son was a gamer, he grew out of it." December 2013. Lauren called the police. The information police found on Lewis confirmed every fear Lauren had. Lewis Daynes was a troubled child of divorced parents, taken in by his grandmother and local authorities after they had abandoned him. Further to this, they found out that at the time Lewis was 18 years old and unemployed, living alone in a flat in Essex. He bought a server space and used it to game with teenage boys. Another shocking discovery was that he was accused of possessing indecent images and raping a 15-year-old boy in 2011, although he was never charged. However, sadly this information was found out too late. They ignored Lauren's concerns at the time and didn't look into Lewis Daynes. Lauren said, when calling the police to share her concerns, the woman on the phone simply asked if Breck could just play on another website, or if Lauren herself could just ask Lewis not to contact Breck again. Frustrated by the lack of help, she took matters into her own hands, confiscating Breck's computer and organizing a meeting with another boy in the gaming group and his parents. However, Lewis was one step ahead. Once he learned about this meeting, he convinced Breck to record everything that was said. Breck did that. From this point, Lewis knew they was onto him, but had Breck under his influence. Lewis began to hatch a plan, telling Breck that he was ill and dying and too weak to run his company. Not wanting his company to go under, Lewis told Breck that he wanted to hand the company over to him as long as Breck would come over to his flat and learn the job. February 2014. Breck was staying at his father's, telling his father that he was heading to his friend Tom's house to build a new server. But he would go on to meet Lewis Daynes at his Essex flat. Lewis had emailed Breck a set of instructions for how he could convince his father to let him out for the night of their meeting, including the lie of staying around a friend's house. February 16, 2014. Breck took a 30-mile taxi from his home in Caterham, Surrey to meet Daynes in person in Grays, Essex. The last point Breck Bednar was seen alive. Sometime after meeting, Breck was murdered. Evidence which was later collected during investigations found that some sexual activity occurred. Before meeting with Breck, Lewis had bought duct tape, condoms, and syringes online. The duct tape was used on Breck's wrists and ankles, before his neck was slit, causing the 14-year-old to die within seconds. But the horror didn't end there. Shortly after the murder, Lewis would take pictures of Breck's mutilated body and send them to two of his other online friends in the gaming group. Photos which were leaked and circulated as news as his death broke. When police were informing Breck's father of his son's murder, Breck's 12-year-old sibling, Sebastian, received a text from a friend. "Is it true about your brother? If it's true, it's so sad."
Essex Police Emergency.
Hi there. Okay. Hello. I need police and a forensics team to my address, please.
What do you mean? What's happened?
My friend and I got into an altercation, and I'm the only one who came out alive.
Are you telling me you've killed somebody?
Yes, I am.
Right, and who am I speaking to?
My name is Lewis Daynes. I'm 18 years old, and I live...
After calling 999 on his own crime, Lewis was chillingly calm, trying to portray a story that Breck tried to take his own life, and he had accidentally stabbed him when trying to save him.
Hands on his face, I got up, I put my arms around him, and I said it was okay. He just shrugged me off and said no. I can't remember exactly what he said. He was going on about how he didn't want to go home, he was fed up with his life, and he didn't want to go.
Right,
and
okay.
I have a penknife on the side of, in my room.
Officers arrived at the scene. Breck's body was lying on the floor in his Lewis's bedroom. All of his computer gear was submerged in water in an attempt to destroy any evidence. Breck's clothes were later found outside in the trash. Through the investigations, police found that Lewis had been living alone since 16 and had developed disturbing interests online. He was obsessive and was fascinated by Syria, particularly a video of a beheading. Police said between September 2013 and February 2014, Daynes had been trying to meet up with someone within the community. Tragically, Breck became the one he chose. Despite all of this evidence, Lewis continued to maintain his innocence in Breck's death all the way up until his trial. However, just moments before, in Chelmsford Crown Court in Essex, Lewis decided to plead guilty for the murder of Breck Bednar. January 12, 2015. Lewis Daynes was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 25 years for the murder and sexual and sadistic intent. Lewis will be 44 before he is eligible for release. After the trial, Lauren Lefebvre sued both the Essex and Surrey police departments for mishandling the situation that ultimately led to the death of her son. An investigation by the Independent Police Complaints Commission into the police handling of the case found that the Surrey police mishandled Lauren's first call. Eventually, Breck's parents reached a settlement with Surrey police.
Court of how their lives have been ruined by his death.
I am heartbroken and lost without my Breck, and I will never be the same. He was murdered on my birthday this year, and so much of me died as well. My poor triplets lost not only their adored big brother, but also their mother.